Most high performers do not have an energy issue, they have a misalignment issue. Hey guys, welcome to today's video on why success is draining you and exactly what you need to do about it. And if you're new to my video, hello, my name is Elika. I'm an energy optimization coach and a trusted advisor for purpose-driven leaders who want to have way more energy, because you know that's what you need to create the impacts that you want to do in this world. So success for me is something that you have to define yourself. But having success and feeling drained is a clue that that's not really your success. And that's the journey that I went on when I went from corporate to being an entrepreneur to what I would essentially say the founder role, where you have multiple offerings that you can give as a collection of your work. And when I was in the corporate world, I had a specific job title that I thought that once I reached that, I would be successful. And when I was approaching that and I had my first burnout, I realized that wasn't what success looked like for me. And so firstly, being really clear and defining what is success to you. This is a super important element of how you get there and experience what you really understand to be true to be your version of success. So for me, success is a feeling, and that feeling inside of me is inner peace, it's joy, and it's harmony personally and professionally. So I don't want to have, you name the thing, the career, the job title, the recognition without the inner peace. I don't want to have the relationship without the impact in the world. I don't want to have the health and the body without the relationship. So you have to come to that point where you understand, what does your definition look and feel like for you? And this is so unique to us, and this is why it's really my soul's work to reallocate people to their most authentic version of themselves, to rewire them back to integrated into what do they truly desire from their heart, and not fabricate that from information from outside of themselves or conditioning because they haven't done inner work that's been able to remove those traumas that have shaped the actions that they take in their life. So for me, it's become really clear that there are three areas that are really helpful when we look at having success without being drained. And one of those is your relationships. So one of the things that I have noticed about high performers is our drive, our determination, our self-empowerment sometimes means that we can go on a path alone. And as they say, it's lonely at the top. But I do believe that there are fewer and fewer people as you climb your career and your trajectory. And actually, once you create your own version of success, there are fewer people around you because you have to let people go that are not aligned. So I do think that there are fewer people, but what I can say, because I definitely feel this way now, is there are more aligned people. So you know how you can be in a relationship or in a room full of people and still feel lonely, but what happens is when you make that decision that relationships get to be an important element of your success, you will lose a lot of the fickle surface level relationships. But you will have fewer relationships that are so much deeper, so much more meaningful. So for example, when I was leaving the corporate world and I started the restaurant, I remember thinking that all my colleagues will come and see the restaurant. It'll be so exciting to feed them lunch and get them actually eating lunch properly. And it was literally like 1 block away, which was across the main road in Singapore. And you better believe they all had a reason why it was too far to come on lunch. And so it was really sad at that time because you just assumed that in that evolution of your own career and purpose that others would be following you and others would be supporting you. And the truth is they're not. And when I moved to Singapore, I had the same thing. You move overseas, and I have one friend who is my oldest friend since childhood, and it doesn't matter where I am in the world, I know that anytime, even if we haven't spoken for a year, we can just pick up the phone. It's like we never left each other. Our depth of our relationship has gone through so many tests and turmoils that we don't really need to go through the little catch-ups anymore and the little niggles of what's happening day to day. We can just quantum leap straight into the depth of the things that are really important to us. And I think that on that journey, I had to really learn for myself that the depth of my relationships is really important. And that means that I could make friendships with people. So when I started the restaurant, I had this whole community now of entrepreneurs that I was surrounded by. And some of them, because of the nature of the restaurant being whole foods, it was really drawing in these very heart-centered leaders, and they want to know, my vision and my mission, and why I was doing what I do. And of course, when people start wanting to eat organic whole foods, they're already starting to take care of their physical vessel, and these are the people that have more empathy and more kindness to others. Because let's be honest, when your physical vessel isn't working properly and you're exhausted, it's quite hard to be patient for other people. So I started to make some really beautiful friendships in those times, and I hadn't known them long, but it didn't matter, because what mattered was the depth. And then I realized from that experience, when I had my second burnout, when I was really struggling to manage what is the day-to-day running of an operations, as well as feel that I was balanced with how much time that I was getting to rejuvenate from that, I realized on that journey that when I came out of it, that the friendships that I had created in that time, they were the ones that were probably going to last me for life, because I wasn't really at my highest state in that time. I had something that was deemed as successful, but I personally was really struggling. And so when you think about the people that were around you at that time and that were like lifting you up and like they were your cheerleaders, that's when you realize they're the deep and meaningful relationships. And so it took me a while to really realize that I'm just going to really invest in those people, but I'm going to make an effort to make sure no matter what I'm doing, I keep on investing in those people. So on that early stage of my career, I didn't think that, when I was in corporate, it was all about good times and, good drinks and, it was just really about people that I was spending time with because we were in similar environments. Maybe we were expats together, maybe we worked in the same company or the same sports club, but we hadn't really had those like heart-to-heart conversations, like soul-to-soul connections about the things that we were really struggling with, the things that would keep us up at night, and whether we could be there for each other on that. So relationships became, for me, that pathway that I look at with my clients as, where do you have your drainers in here, and where do you need more stronger pillars? And I definitely know, as a 4-6 in human design, the 4 lines, we are all about our connections and our relationships, and they make us thrive. So me learning that lesson was super important for the evolution of my career, and also personally. I'm also a Libra moon and a Libra rising. So Libra is definitely about harmony in relationships. And so for me, my own personal well-being, emotionally, mentally, required so much about learning about myself through the path of relationships. So these are elements that I had to uncover as I did my own inner work and my own personal growth, to discover these different elements of me, to come back and realizing that relationships are one of these things that if you get this right, you can have success without being drained. Now, the next area that I would say is your mind. At the end of the day, the actions that you are going to take are going to be based on your thoughts that you think the most, that then shape your belief systems that become your actions. And so, let me say that again. Your thoughts that you think the most are what's going to shape your beliefs, which then go on to shape your actions. And the challenge that most of us have is our thoughts have been programmed into us from an early age, and we haven't done that work to rewire them and to really upgrade them to higher expressions of what we truly believe is right for us. And so when I'm working with a client, I always say I will start at the lowest hanging fruit. And for so many of my clients, they think that nutrition is the starting place. And sometimes it can, because sometimes I need to stabilize the physical body. But so many times, the reason they're not eating well, the reason their relationships are being sabotaged, is because they hold a belief that is not supporting them. So like if you've watched some of my videos before, you may have heard me talk about my core belief that I kept on asking myself. And that core belief was, I have to work hard, not smart, because that was what was modeled to me as a child growing up. And this year, in 2026, as I record this, I have intentionally decided to ask myself one question every day, which is an intentional way of rewiring my subconscious to the highest expression of a belief that I think is possible. And that belief is, what does it feel like to feel abundance in all areas of my life? And I'm asking myself this, we're nearly at the end of January already, and I'm asking myself this every day so that I can really tune into the frequency of abundance. And that's because I understand the power of the mind. And I understand that we are creating our own reality. And I understand that what I think about the most is what I'm putting energy on the most. And I want my energy to be on the thing that's going to raise me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so that, to me, in this season of my life, is the feeling of harmony across every area, and therefore every area feeling so abundant. And bearing in mind that I, just like many of us, I get told and conditioned this belief all the time that we have to choose. And to some extent, I do believe we have to choose, especially as a woman. I think there are seasons in a woman's life. There are seasons clearly in a man's life, but there are seasons in a woman's life where, you have to choose between this element, for example, having a child and trying to work and trying to maintain a home. Like, honestly, are you going to be able to put into all of those equally? No, let's be honest. But does that mean that you can't be abundant in all areas of your life? Absolutely not. And so depending on the belief systems that you have, the things that you are telling yourself every day, that will affect whether your success is coming at a huge drain to you, or whether you will feel harmonious and you will actually feel your version of success. So the last area that I want to talk about is the physical vessel, our body. Like, at the end of the day, we have a soul that comes with a clear intention of what we're here to do. And I believe in that moment when we're born, we call it the incarnation cross in human design. But in that moment, our soul comes with a North Star, a purpose, a reason for being. In human psychology, we already study and say that, a human baby has a level of consciousness when it's born because it knows who its mother is, whether it's hot or cold. And if you have consciousness, you have purpose, you have a reason for being. And at the end of the day, that soul, that spirit of us, has to be inside a physical vessel. So that physical vessel has to learn some things, to walk, to talk, and it learns very quickly how to please people, to stay alive. And what actually happens is it starts getting conditioned to go against what's truly the most healthiest and most aligned version of itself. Until we get to a point where I call this like the soul fracture element. It's really, I think, what most people used to refer to as the midlife crisis, where you start to realize this way of being is not really authentic to myself. And in that element of being and knowing that, you then get to take this opportunity to take care of the physical body, but know that your physical body is containing your soul. And so in take caring of the physical body needs certain nutrients to thrive. So that's whole foods that are minimally processed. As I always say, foods that your grandma or great-grandma used to eat that used to be growing, moving, or swimming. That's the foods that you're designed to eat. That's the foods that speak to every cell in your body, allowing your body to thrive. Okay? Then we talk about sleep. The body, the physical vessel, needs time to rest and recover. And there are certain organs that have certain times, like in our brain, we release a fluid that actually cleans out our brains and is what helps us to create our own memories, like our liver that actually does the work of detoxing and removing toxins out of our body between 1 and 3 a.m. And so sleep becomes this crucial moment of the deepest meditation that you can have, where you really get to allow deeper healing to occur. And so that's what takes care of the physical vessel, so that it can actually go out and do the things that you want to do to create the impact, to have the success. Because it can think right, because it can move right, and because it can just be, enjoy and experience joy because it's healthy. So sleep is one of those. And another one is movement, like literally moving the physical body so that the energy can flow through the body, so it's not stagnant and stiff. And so when we take care of the physical body, it becomes a lot easier for us to have success without feeling drained. So as a recap, the 3 areas that I think you can really prioritize so that you can have success without being drained is your relationships, is definitely your nutrients, your nutrition, and it's definitely movement. Yeah. And so in the order that I said it in, nutrition and movement, they come really together in terms of movement. So that the other area that you have to think about as a whole pillar is your mind and its beliefs. Yeah. So I hope you have enjoyed this share as much as I've enjoyed sharing with you. I'd love to hear your comments, so do leave them below in the comments box. And I always say that the best way to keep connected to this way of living where your energy is in overflow, where you are always thinking about how can I nurture my energy, how can I nourish my energy so I can create the impact that I want to do in this world, is by signing up for my newsletter, because that's where I'm sharing my lifestyle hacks. I share monthly my energy audit, where I audit all the areas of my life, yeah, that keeps me in harmony, in peace, in joy. And I invite you to ask yourself a question in the 3 areas that I've given you, right? In about relationships, in your mind, in movement, what is giving you energy and what is taking energy away. And that's what you'll see, that I share those sorts of things in the newsletter. And so if you'd like this, please give it a like and share it with somebody that you think may need to prioritize what is their definition of success. And is success really draining them? Or does success get to be what they really define as their true soul version of success? So I've loved sharing this, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.